we're here on an initial permanency hearing. Ms. Wiggins is with us for the department. Mr. Ingram is with us representing the child. Ms. Kincaid is with us representing the father, Mr. Eaton. I don't know, he's not in the waiting room. I don't know if he's with us or not. Ms. Mullinex is with us representing the mother, Ms. Thompson, who is with us. I don't know if he might possibly be with her.
Judge, I don't either, but usually they've appeared together, so.
Okay.
If
Ms.
not,
Yeah, Judge, I was hoping that he may be with her.
there we go.
Yeah. They're together. So Mr. Eaton is also with us. Okay. All right, then. Ms. Wiggins, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. I call Shay Grant.
Okay. Ms. Grant, if you would raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Wiggins, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. We'd ask the court to take judicial notice of the court report filed on March 14th of 2023.
All right. So noted, and I have read the report.
Ms. Grant, are you currently filling in for Peyton Sims, who is the caseworker?
Yes,
Have you been able to review all the documents necessary for you to testify?
yes, I have.
And in regards to this case, it looks like the child is placed in Potter County. How is the child doing in her placement?
She's doing well. She's healthy and getting all the medical treatment, everything she needs.
Now, are visits happening between the parents and the child?
Yes.
And how are those going?
Visits with mom are going well. I don't believe dad is attending visits.
Okay. Now, in regards to the parents, it looks like mom completed her psychosocial, is that correct?
Yes,
And they did have some added recommendations, is that right?
yes,
And it looks like they indicated that Ms. Thompson would benefit from a class on domestic violence.
yes,
And also for her OSAR assessment, she also completed that, is that correct?
yes,
And it indicated that she should complete the Padre program, is that right?
yes, ma'am.
And are we asking that both of those services be ordered?
Yes,
Now, in regards to Mr. Eaton, it appears that he also did his psychosocial evaluation, is that correct?
yes,
And he had a few additional classes as well. Well, it looks like he had co-counseling or couples counseling with Miss Thompson. I apologize. Miss Thompson, is that right?
yes, ma'am.
So you asking that that service be ordered for both of them?
Yes,
And that would still be at Jennings Counseling, is that correct?
yes,
Now, in regards to Mr. Eaton, he was not able to complete his OSAR evaluation, is that correct?
that is correct.
Are we asking that he complete an evaluation at Synacor?
Yes,
And do we believe that's a comparable evaluation for the OSAR?
yes, ma'am.
Now, in regards to testing or drug testing, are we asking that both parents be ordered to UA and hair follicle drug screen today?
Yes, ma'am.
And it said that Ms. Thompson went on March 15th of 2023, but did she actually go?
No, she did not.
So neither parent went in March when requested by the department. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, are we asking that visits be suspended until they complete those drug screens?
Yes.
Is there
And-
anything else the court needs to be aware of or order today?
I don't believe so.
Okay, I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right. Ms. Mullinex.
Ms. Grant, with regard to Padre, is it your understanding that Ms. Thompson has actually started that already?
Yes, ma'am.
And with regard to the domestic violence class, has she received a referral to that yet, or do you know?
I'm not sure.
All right, and if she hasn't, can you make sure that that's done, or have Ms. Simmons make sure that that's done?
Yes, ma'am.
And with regard to the drug screens, you're asking for both of them to go today, and then just make sure that they have the drug screens done so that the visitation is reinstated? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, we want them to go and drug screen.
Okay. Is there anything else that Ms. Thompson hasn't started that she needs to do other than the domestic violence class?
No, I believe she's working her services.
And do you know what her visitation is at this point?
Weekly on Tuesdays and Fridays. I know Friday for sure.
Do you know, is it an hour per day, or do you know how much?
I'm not sure how long, I'm sorry.
All right, if she drug screens and her drug screen is negative, would the department have any objection to her having additional visitation periods since she's working her services?
I'm sorry, I cannot answer that. I don't.
That's okay. I pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kincaid?
Thank you, Your Honor. Has Mr. Eaton maintained contact with the department throughout this case?
With Miss Sim, I believe so.
Okay, and has he started his parenting classes?
I don't think he has.
Okay, and he does have stable housing, is that correct?
I'm not sure, I'm sorry.
Okay, and so similar to what Ms. Mullinex asked, if he completes his drug screen today, then he could reinstitute his visitation, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Ingram?
No questions.
All right, does anyone have anything else for Ms. Grant?
Judge, I just want to clarify in the court report, it does say that Mr. Eaton has started his parenting class.
All right,
I have no further questions.
all right. And so, Ms. Grant, do I understand that, let's see, first, the mother failed to drug screen in January and February. No, I'm sorry, she failed in January. And
Judge, I
sorry.
think it's February and March.
All right, and the father also failed to show when asked, is that correct?
Yes,
He has attended one, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Grant, do you believe it would be a continuing danger to the physical health or safety of the child to be returned to either parent today?
yes,
You believe it would be contrary to the child's welfare to be returned to either parent today?
yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Ms. Wiggins, do you have any further witnesses?
I do not. We rest.
All right, thank you. Ms. Mullinex, any witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor. We would request the court to consider giving additional visitation if her hair follicle and UA are negative.
Okay. All right, Ms. Kincaid, witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor. Rest.
All right, thank you. Mr. Ingram, recommendations?
Continue department as temporary manager conservator, continue placement as is. Child's doing well in placement, suspend visitation pending drug testing. And my report from placement is that the parents are visiting for 2 hours twice a week. So that's 4 hours for a 5-month-old baby. I think that's plenty.
Ms. Grant, is that the correct visitation schedule currently?
I know it's twice a week. I'm just not sure about how long it
Okay.
is.
And I understand this isn't your case. So, Ms. Thompson, is that correct? 2 hours twice weekly?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. All right, thank you. Give me just a minute here.
Aaron.
Okay, then, based on what I've heard today, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, continue the current placement. I'll order Ms. Thompson to successfully complete the domestic violence group and the Padre program and couples counseling. I'll order Mr. Eaton to successfully. Somebody's talking and I don't know who's talking. I'll order Mr. Eaton to complete the couples counseling and do the Senecor evaluation. I'll order both parents to hair strand and UA drug screen by 4 p.m. today at Care Express. I'll order that the parents' visitation will be suspended until they drug test as ordered today. And in addition, that they have a negative UA drug screen. Okay, our next hearing in this case will be on July 24th, 2023. As far as I know, that will be by Zoom, just like today's hearings. So parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance of July 24th. Mr. Ingram's understanding we're going to talk to Taylor this morning.
Yes, sir.
All right. I've got a Crystal Hill, Laurie Roybal, and Kimbra Thomas in the waiting room. Is she? No, there's Taylor. Okay, she's there. Let me go ahead and just call the case and then we'll take a break. Ms. Gutierrez is with us for the department. Casa is with us. Ms. Naranjo is with us representing the father, Mr. Wagner, who I understand, I don't see him in the waiting room, and I understand he signed an affidavit of relinquishment. And Ms. Mullinax is with us representing the mother, I show her as Wagner. She popped up as Esty Lauhoff, so she's with us. Ms. Christie is guardian ad litem. I don't know, Mr. Ingram, is she guardian ad litem for all the children or just some of the children?
All of the children.
Okay. I don't see her in the waiting room, and we'll need her to talk to Talon.
I'll check on that, Judge.
I'm sorry?
I'll check on her.
Okay.
I'll check to make sure.
Okay, sure. All right, we'll give Ms. Christie a minute to join us.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can we go ahead and have Kimbra Thomas allowed into the Zoom hearing? And as well, we are asking that a record be made of the court's conference with the child.
Okay. All right, we will wait for Ms. Christie, and then we'll get Talon in and go into the meeting room.
Thank you, Your Honor. We are requesting that the court take judicial notice of the relinquishment signed by Wesley Wagner and filed on March 1st of 2023.
All right, so noted.
And Your Honor, I do request if the court does have the conference, well, I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to cover my basis for possible placement change of Talon without Donna here, Your Honor. Would it be possible for us to table that issue?
Sure. I mean, yeah, she needs to be a part of that. So,
Okay.
yeah, if she doesn't show up here real quickly, then we'll just set that for another hearing. If that's the intent, if someone's going to ask that placement change, we'll set that for another hearing.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll proceed.
Okay.
Your Honor, pardon my interruption. May Talon be allowed in so she can see the proceedings?
Yeah, if she's 14, I don't have a problem with that. Did she want to attend?
Yes, sir. That's my understanding.
Okay. All right. Let me get her in. All right. We have Talon with us. My understanding, Talon wanted to listen in on the hearing. Talon, I know we're supposed to visit with you today. Donna Christie, who is one of the lawyers that needs to be in on that's not with us. We may have to set that for another time, but we'll just see. We're going to go ahead with the hearing today, so you're welcome to watch it if you'd like.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Gutierrez.
Thank you, Your Honor. The department calls Kimbra Thomas as its witness.
Okay.
Kimbra, who do you work for?
St. Francis Ministries.
And what do you do for them?
I'm a permanency specialist.
And are you assigned to the children's case of Talon, Grayson, and Cope?
Yes.
And who is their mother?
Esty
Okay.
Wagner.
And who is their father?
Wesley Wagner.
Did you file a court report on this case?
Yes.
Your Honor, we ask that the court take judicial notice of that court report filed on March 24th of 2023.
All right, so noted, and I have read that report.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Kimbra, are there any updates on the children on Talon since the filing of that court report?
No major updates. She is placed at Hirello now. It's the same placement as her younger two brothers. It's a different cottage, so a different house, but they're still in the same facility and able to see each other.
Okay, so they are having sibling visits, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I understand that the child Talon has diabetes, is that correct?
Yes.
Is that placement handling her diabetes well?
Yes, they are.
Okay, and can you give us some details on how Talon is doing in that place?
She's doing really well. I think at first it was a little bit of an adjustment for her just because she's been kind of away for a little bit. But they've taken good care of her. It's a fairly big sized house, and so she's able to have her own room, her own bathroom. There's not a lot of girls in the home, so it's easy to have the attention and things like that for her. So overall, I think she's doing good.
Okay, now, is she up to date on her medical and dental?
She is.
And does she have ongoing therapy?
She does. We're trying to get her back into the therapist she saw before leaving Amarillo. There was a little bit of a wait, but we do have an appointment scheduled.
And is that with Leanne Lefevre?
It is.
Okay, and in the meantime, is she receiving therapy there at the group home?
I believe it's more of like a skills type training, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay, she's a child on psychotropic medication.
She is on a couple medications.
And is that for anxiety, depression, and sleep?
Yes,
And is she seeing Dr. Mendoza at least every 30 days regarding those medications?
yes.
And has Taylin been given an opportunity to express an opinion on her medical care?
I believe so. When I met with her last, I did just kind of talk to her about advocating for herself in those doctor's appointments and how she feels that medication is helping her or not helping her. And I think that she's been able to do that.
Okay, has she indicated to you whether or not that medication is helping?
I think they help her really well. I know she struggled a little bit with sleep, and so I think that's being monitored some.
Okay, I'll ask my question again. Has the child Taylin indicated to you an opinion on those medications?
She says they're helping her.
Okay, great. And
Yes,
and how is she doing there?
she's doing good there.
Okay, great. Now let's switch to the child Grayson. How is Grayson doing in placements?
He's doing okay. He was in the emergency shelter, but he recently moved over to the GRO part of the facility, still High Plains, but not the shelter anymore. So kind of adjusting to that. I've been told that he's doing good there. He struggled a little bit with some behaviors in his placement, and so we're trying to monitor that, but overall he's doing good.
Okay, and were the acting out, you said that there was an incident. Can you tell us more about that?
So twice now he has stolen money, once from another child at school and once from a staff member at High Plains. And he stole some phones out of a cabinet. He's been having issues with just kind of his anger and not being able to process through that, which is one of the main reasons that we decided to go ahead and get him onto medication and try to see if that can help. I think it's more of a processing thing for him. It's a hard time for him. But other than that, that's kind of the main issues.
Okay. Now, specifically, has something occurred recently that the child has struggled with more?
Mr. Ingram's with us representing the child. Mr. Taylor is with us representing Ms. Moreno, who is with us. Mr. Pirtle represents an unknown father. He's let the court know that he's in a criminal case today and would not be attending. Ms. Gutierrez, I know that I read the report and it's asking that the department continue as temporary managing conservator. Have I extended this case already, or are you asking that I extend it?
You signed the order this morning, Your Honor, granting that extension. And
I did?
Yes,
I
I was surprised too.
I guess, I don't know, maybe Miss Morrow signed it for
Sorry.
me. I haven't signed anything today. Okay, all right, that clears up what I needed to know, so, okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. The department calls Lisa Godsey as its witness. I also asked the court to take judicial notice of the order retaining the suit filed today.
Okay, I will take notice of that and take your word for it.
Thank you, Your Honor. And also that it sets the next permanency review hearing on July 31st of 2023.
Okay, so noted.
And we are asking that today's hearing be treated as a permanency review hearing.
Okay, so we will treat today's hearing as a permanency.
Thank you, Your Honor. Lisa, who do you work for?
St. Francis Ministries.
And what do you do for them?
I am a reunification permanency specialist.
And as a permanency specialist, are you working with the child Liliana? And is the father unknown?
Yes.
Thank you. Where is the child currently placed?
She is currently in a foster home here in Amarillo.
And is the mother able to visit the child?
She is.
Currently, what is that visitation set at?
Currently they are doing a 1-hour Zoom visits, and they are also doing some in-person visits whenever they're able to make them. I know that they've had 1, if not 2 in-person visits so far.
Okay, and what impediments are there to the visitation being in person regularly?
Kimberly lives a couple of hours away. She relies on her girlfriend for transportation to Amarillo to be able to make the visits.
Okay. How is the child doing in her current placement?
She's doing very well.
Can you give us some details?
She seems really well adjusted and happy. She's doing great in school. She's currently on an antibiotic for like a persistent UTI issue that she was having. That's going to be evaluated again this month to see if she needs to continue with the antibiotic.
And is the child in any kind of therapy?
She is in a behavioral therapy. She's doing well in that as well.
Okay, how often is that behavioral therapy occurring?
I believe it's every other week.
Okay. Now, as far as Ms. Moreno's progress on her services, can you tell us what services she has completed?
Yes, so she has been communicating with me and keeping in contact. She does have stable housing at the moment, and she is currently working. She has completed her psychosocial, and she has set up the appointment for the OSAR, but I'm not sure she's completed that yet.
I'm sorry, the appointment for the OSAR?
Yes,
And is that a substance abuse assessment?
it is.
Okay, so what sort of drug treatment is she participating in at this time?
At this time, she was going to AANA meetings, but I've not received like the sign-in sheet. And then she said that their internet, they no longer had that, so that they weren't attending that. So it's more of like a sporadic AANA. And then she is also going to counseling.
Okay. How many sessions has she had of counseling?
I tried to get that report from the counselor, but I have not received an email back. I know that she did her initial appointment in December, and she had 1 or 2 appointments in February, but I've not received anything back from the counselor on that yet.
Now, as far as drug screens, it looks like she had a positive for methamphetamine back in October of 2022. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Since that positive hair follicle in October, has she consistently had negative urinalysis drug screens?
She has.
And did she have a negative hair follicle drug screen in February of 2023?
She did.
And your court report indicates that she took a urinalysis drug screen on March 23rd of 2023. Was that negative as well?
It was.
Have you been able to visit Ms. Moreno's home?
I have.
And can you tell us if it would be appropriate for Liliana?
She has gotten a lot of stuff situated in the home. She does have Lily's bedroom set up for her in an appropriate manner that would be appropriate for Lily.
Okay. Now, as far as the psychological evaluation of Kimberly, were there any recommended services from that psychological evaluation that we are asking the court to order?
Yes, there was a recommendation for a domestic violence.
Okay. Are we asking the court to order that today as a recommended services for Ms. Moreno?
Yes.
Now, what services has Ms. Moreno not completed?
The AANA, the 12-step program, needs to be more consistent. If she hasn't completed her OSAR yet, she still needs to complete that.
Okay.
She needs to complete her counseling and also that domestic violence class that was recommended.
Now, with these classes still outstanding, what are we asking that gets completed before we look at reunifying the child with her?
We typically ask for all the services to be completed and for the parents to be engaged prior to any like unsupervised visits. And also prior to reunification.
So once Ms. Moreno completes the OSAR, that substance abuse assessment, her counseling, and her domestic violence class, would we then ask the court, or on our own initiative, increase visitation to work towards placing the child in the home with her mother?
Yes.
Pass the witness.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Ms. Guzzi, based on a review of your report and your testimony today, I gather that Kimberly got off to a rather slow and late start, but since October, she seems to be cooperating and making a sincere effort. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're pleased with what she's doing now?
Yes, sir.
And based on that, you're requesting, you have requested and gotten the extension and are hoping that if she stays on target, she will get reunified with the child.
Yes.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ingram.
No questions?
All right, then, Ms. Gutierrez, anything further from the department?
Lisa, are we asking the court for any court-ordered drug screens?
Not today. She has been very cooperative with going.
Nothing further, Your Honor. We rest. I would like, actually, I don't rest, Your Honor. I apologize. I'd like to call Kimberly Moreno briefly.
Okay. Ms. Moreno, if you would, oh, you're unmuted already. Ma'am, if you'd raise your right hand, do you swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Gutierrez.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Moreno, you are Liliana's mother, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I understand you have been sober for a few months, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you willing to do that drug screen, that substance abuse assessment with OSAR?
I've already done it twice. She's the one that helped me sign it electronically.
Did you actually go to the appointment or attend the appointment?
Yes, ma'am. I've done it twice already.
When was the last time that you completed it?
In March, it was during spring break. It was like sometime March 12th or something.
Okay, so it was in these last couple of weeks, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you recall if there were any recommendations for you on that substance abuse assessment?
No, ma'am. She just told me to keep doing my meetings.
And have you figured out, since you last talked with Lisa, how to attend your AA and NA meetings more regularly?
Yes, ma'am. I've been going in person, actually. I've got that paper filled out a few times.
Okay. Do you mean the sign-in sheet?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, I understand you're also in individual therapy. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
How many sessions have you attended?
The sessions, I don't know, but I go once a week, every Tuesday. So I could say at least a good 6 or 7 of them.
Okay. Ask the witness.
All right, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Kimberly, is it your intent to be cooperative and do whatever you need to do?
Yes, sir.
So even though you've done it twice, you're willing to do it again if that's what's required?
Yes, sir. I mean, yeah, if I have to.
And you'll do the domestic violence class?
On that, I've been trying to do it because it's supposed to be with choices with the same person that I do my counseling with. And she said that she can't find none in Lubbock. She's trying to find me one that I can go to.
Okay.
But that they don't really do domestic classes here. But I mean, I've been trying since I've been going to counseling, and my counselor is supposed to help me with that because it's with the same program.
So you talk to Lisa regularly and work that out however it needs to be done.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's what it's showing.
All right. Mr. Ingram.
No questions.
All right. All right, Ms. Gutierrez, any further witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to recall Lisa Godsey.
Okay. Ms. Scottsy, you're still under oath, so Ms. Gutierrez, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Godsey, it sounds like from Ms. Moreno's testimony that she completed an OSAR in March of 2023. Were you aware of that?
I was not.
Okay, so do you have the results from that OSAR assessment?
I do not, but I can find out who did it and get that.
Okay. Now, as far as the AA and NA, has Ms. Moreno sent you any sign-in sheets recently from her going in person?
She has not.
Okay. Will you be asking her to do that?
Yes, or I can gather them whenever I come up to Lubbock. I will get with some of the St. Francis workers from Lubbock to figure out where she may attend those.
Okay, pass the witness.
All right. Mr. Taylor, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Ingram?
No, sir.
All right. Ms. Gutierrez, did you have any other witnesses?
No, nothing further, Your Honor. We rest.
All right, thank you. Mr. Taylor, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, also rest.
All right, thank you. Mr. Ingram, recommendations?
Continue department's temporary manager conservator to continue placement as is. Lily's doing well in her placement.
All right. Okay, then I do find that as of today, it would be a continuing danger to return the child to the mother today, and that it would be contrary to the child's welfare. All right, I will continue department as temporary managing conservator, continue the current placement. I'll order Ms. Moreno to successfully complete the DV group or attend the DV group. I don't guess you ever necessarily complete it. I'll order Ms. Moreno to OSAR if she hasn't already done so. And if she has, and if there is a report and there are recommendations, then she doesn't need to do another OSAR. But I will order that she follow any recommendations that may have been in that OSAR assessment. Okay, then I will set the next permanency hearing for July 31st, 2023. And that will conclude this hearing.